Wow, what's good, YouTube? It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boxing community. All right, first off, let's get the YouTube stuff out the way. Like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to get all the new alerts when I post my next video. All right, this is the post-fight analysis, post-fight reaction to the Mario Barrios Keith Thurman fight from a few days ago. I thought, first of all, I didn't think it was a pay-per-view worthy fight. I mean, both fighters are solid fighters. Of course, Keith Thurman at one point was a unified welterweight champion. Mario Barrios is moving up from junior welterweight. It's a solid fight, but it's no way, shape, form is this a pay-per-view caliber, pay-per-view worthy fight. That's for starters, because back in the gap, this would have been a fight that would have been a network television fight, even a basic cable, or maybe even premium cable fight. This would have been a good main event for Friday night fights back in the gap, even a main event for World Championship boxing. However, this is not a pay-per-view caliber, not a pay-per-view worthy fight. No offense, no knock to either fighter, but this is not a pay-per-view worthy fight. All right. So to the fight itself, the analysis, it was a solid fight. I scored the fight 119-109 in favor of Keith Thurman. And he had a solid performance. I mean, it was a dominant performance. But I mean, he can't get like a ridiculous amount of credit because Mario Barrios coming off a knockout loss to Gervonta Tank Davis. And in addition to that, he's moving up from junior welterweight to welterweight, so he can't get a whole lot of praise and credit for this particular fight. Now, I know Keith Thurman is coming off a long layoff, but even with that being said, I mean, it wasn't, nothing to really write home about, but it was a solid performance. Of course, in the third round, Keith Thurman, he buzzed Mario Barrios. He buzzed him pretty good. And then again in the fourth round, he really hurt Mario Barrios with, I'll say between 20 and 40 seconds left in the fourth round, maybe about 30 seconds left in the fourth round. Keith Thurman really hurt him. And maybe about 5-6 years ago, Keith Thurman really would have put his foot on the gas and really try to get Mario Barrios out of there. However, at this stage and at this point in his career, Keith Thurman really doesn't have that killer instinct that he once had. So as a result, he just kind of looked to outbox and, just kind of, I guess, get in rounds, but he really, at no point did he really try to go for a knockout, which at this stage in his career, I really would have tried to see him, since he's trying to press for a fight with Errol Spence Jr. or Terrence Bud Crawford. It would be nice to see him get Mario Barrios out of there. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. The eighth round was the next big round to really look at, because in the eighth round, early in the round, of course, Keith Thurman, again, he kind of buzzed Mario Barrios. But the big thing was, later on in that same round, Mario Barrios hurt Keith Thurman with a body shot, all right? And when he hurt him with a body shot, of course, the rest of the round, Keith Thurman just looked to stay away. He really didn't do a whole lot the second half of that round. So I gave that one particular round to Mario Barrios. But outside of that round there, I really couldn't find a round to give to Mario Barrios. So that's why the scorecard looks 109-119 in favor of Keith Thurman. That's why I scored it that way. And like I said, it was a solid fight. It was a real good performance by Keith Thurman, but like I say, it's nothing to really write home about, considering that Mario Barrios is coming off a knockout loss to Gervonta Tank Davis. In addition to that, he's moving up from junior welterweight to welterweight. All right, and one of the, I'm not gonna say controversial, but one of the things that they really made an issue of is the fact that Mario Barrios, his team, they really were pushing for 10-ounce gloves instead of the standard 8-ounce gloves. Basically, the reason why they made the push for those bigger gloves was because I guess but because he was knocked out in his previous fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, and they figured having the bigger gloves would help him. Honestly and truthfully speaking, I really don't think it made that much of a difference. I think if Keith Thurman really would have put his foot on the gas and really tried to get Mario Barrios out, I don't think it really would have made a difference. I think he could have stopped him still, but since at this stage in Keith Thurman's career, for the time he's really caught up with him to a certain degree, I really don't think it really would have mattered had he really pressed the issue and really tried to get him out of there. So since since he really didn't press the issue, he really couldn't get him out of there. And I don't think Keith Thurman really was pushing for that anyway. It almost seems as if he just was trying to get rounds in and just win round by round and just take it to the scorecard. So that's my post-fight analysis on it. Now, in terms of Keith Thurman, what's next for Keith Thurman? All right, that's the question I really was kind of wondering after watching the fight. And this is my conclusion. First and foremost, if he fights Errol Spence Jr. or Terrence Bud Crawford next, I think either one of those guys stop him. The way Mario Barrios had him hurt in the 8th round, if it would have been Errol Spence Jr., especially with the body work Spence does, he definitely stopping Keith Thurman. There's no questions about it. All right. And in terms of Terrence Bud Crawford, had that been him in the 8th round, again, I think he stops Keith Thurman because, in my estimation, I think Bud is probably the best closer in the welterweight division. So either one of those guys would have got him out of there. So that's not a fight I'm interested in seeing. I'm not interested in seeing Keith Thurman fight either Errol Spence Jr. nor Terrence Bud Crawford. And of course, considering that Keith Thurman really held up the welterweight division when he was unified welterweight champion, and he dodged Errol Spence Jr. for a long time, I really don't think at this stage in Errol Spence Jr.'s career, he's looking to give Keith Thurman a fight or a payday. So I don't think he would even give Keith Thurman the satisfaction of getting that particular fight. So he wouldn't fight him. And I think if Bud Crawford couldn't get the Errol Spence Jr. fight next, I think he would consider fighting Keith Thurman. And in terms of the younger fighters, Jerome Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, I don't think at this stage in Keith Thurman's career he would be interested in fighting either one of those guys. At this stage in his career, he's looking to get a big money fight with Crawford or Spence. So I don't think he would be interested in taking either one of those fights. But based on his performance a few days ago, from what I saw, I don't think he would be. I think it would be maybe a decent fight between either one of those guys. But truthfully speaking, I really don't see either one of those guys. I don't see him going the distance with either one of those guys. Either one of those guys stop him. So, and to be truthfully honest, hopefully if Errol Spence Jr. beats Yordenis Ugas, that's the fight I want to see next. I want to see Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight for undisputed in the welterweight division. Keith Thurman has already held up the division enough. I don't want to see a fight with him that's really going to take away from, in my opinion, the biggest fight in boxing. So I think Keith Thurman, he just maybe needs to take a couple tune-up fights before he really gets a shot at even considering fighting for another title in the welterweight division. So that's my estimation, that's my opinion. The big thing for me is, like I said, since Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, in my opinion, that's the fight I want to see next. And like I said, Keith Thurman, he's just going to have to figure it out. Now, of course, Keith Thurman, like I said, he's looking for a payday, so he just have to figure that out. Hopefully, Terrence Bud Crawford, him and Errol Spence Jr. could work things out in terms of the split and everything else. And hopefully Errol Spence Jr., he gets by Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas is a solid fighter. He's a solid welterweight champion, but I don't see him causing a whole lot of problems for Errol Spence Jr. Because I know a lot of people, they've switched to the mindset, because initially a lot of people was down in the fight, knocking the fight for him taking that fight. But I mean, it's a unification fight, so I don't see why people is knocking that particular fight. I think it's going to be a solid fight, but hopefully Errol Spence Jr. gets by Yordenis Ugas and we get undisputed in the welterweight division, because that's one of my pet peeves as a boxing fan. It's like we can't get these undisputed fights and we can't get the biggest fights in a sport of boxing. It's like people just trying to milk fights like they did the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight years ago. That fight was like 5 years past its expiration date, and hopefully we could get this undisputed bout straight away once Spence beats Yordenis Ugas. All right, so that's my post-fight analysis on the Keith Thurman Mario Barrios fight and my overall take on the welterweight division. So like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can get all the updates on my new videos. I'll catch y'all on a rebound. Everyone have a blessed and phenomenal day. Peace.